Essay on Man. Alexander Pope. The First Epistle. Awake, my Saint John. 1. Leave all meaner things to low ambition, and the pride of kings. Let us, since life can little more supply than just to look about us and to die, expatiate. 2. Free o'er all this scene of man, a mighty maze, but not without a plan. A wild, where weeds and flow single quota res promiscuous shoot, or garden, tempting with forbidden fruit. Together let us beat this ample field, try what the open, what the covert yield. The latent tracks. 3. The giddy heights explore of all who blindly creep, or sightless soar. On nature's walks, shoot folly as it flies, and catch the manners living as they rise. Laugh where we must, be candid where we can, but vindicate. 4. The ways of God to man. I say first, of God above, or man below, what can we reason, but from what we know? Of man what see we, but his station here, from which to reason, or to which refer? Through worlds unnumbered though the God be known, 'tis ours to trace him only in our own. He, who through vast immensity can pierce, see worlds on worlds compose one universe. Observe how system into system runs, what other planets circle other suns, what varied being peoples every star, may tell why he even has made us as we are. But of this frame the bearings, and the ties, the strong connections, nice dependencies, gradations just, has thy pervading soul looked through? Or can a part contain the whole? Is the great chain, that draws all to agree, and drawn supports, upheld by God, or thee? 2. Presumptuous man. The reason wouldst thou find, why formed so weak, so little, and so blind? First, if thou canst, the harder reason guess, why formed no weaker, blinder, and no less. Ask of thy mother earth, why oaks are made taller or stronger than the weeds they shade? Or ask of yonder argent fields 5 above, why Jove's satellites are less than Jove. 6. Of systems possible, if 'tis confessed that wisdom infinite must form the best, where all must full or not coherent be, and all that rises, rise in due degree. Then, in the scale of reasoning life, 'tis plain there must be, somewhere, such rank as man. And all the question wrangle ere so long is only this, if God has plagued him wrong? Respecting man, whatever wrong we call, nay, must be right, as relative to all. In human works, though labored on with pain, 1,000 movements scarce one purpose gain. In God's, one single can its end produce, yet serves to second to some other use. So man, who here seems principle alone, perhaps acts second to some sphere unknown, touches some wheel, or verges to some goal. 'Tis but a part we see, and not a whole. When the proud steed shall know why man restrains his fiery course, or drives him o'er the plains. When the dull ox, why now he breaks the clod, is now a victim, and now Egypt's god. 7. Then shall man's pride and dullness comprehend his actions, passions, beings, use and end. Why doing, suffering, checked, impelled, and why this our slave, the next the deity? Then say not man's imperfect, even in fault. Say rather, man's as perfect as he ought. His knowledge measured to his state and place, his time a moment, and appoint his space. If to be perfect in a certain sphere, what matter, soon or late, or here or there? The blessed today is as completely so, as who began 1,000 years ago. 3. Heathen from all creatures hides the book of fate, all but the page prescribed, their present state. From brutes what men, from men what spirits know, or who could suffer being here below? The lamb thy right dooms to bleed today, had he thy reason, would he skip and play? Pleased to the last, he crops the flowery food, and licks the hand just right to shed his blood. O blindness to the future, kindly given, that each may fill the circle marked by heaven, who sees with equal eye, as God of all, a hero perish, or a sparrow fall, atoms or systems into ruin hurled, and now a bubble burst, and now a world? Hope humbly then, with trembling pinions soar, wait the great teacher death, and God adore. What future bliss, he gives not thee to know, but gives that hope to be thy blessing now. Hope springs eternal in the human breast, man never is, but always to be blessed, the soul, uneasy and confined from home, rests and expatiates in a life to come. Lo! The poor Indian, whose untutored mind sees God in clouds, or hears him in the wind. His soul-proud science never taught to stray far as the solar walk, or Milky Way. Yet simple nature to his hope has given, behind the cloud-topped hill, an humbler heaven. Some safer world in depth of woods embracked, some happier island in the watery waste, where slaves once more their native land behold, no fiend's torment, no Christian's thirst for gold. To be content's his natural desire, he asks no angel's wing, no seraph's fire. But thinks, admitted to that equal sky, his faithful dog shall bear him company. 4. Go, wiser thou, and in thy scale of sense weigh thy opinion against providence. Call imperfection what thou fanciest such, say, here he gives too little, there too much. Destroy all creatures for thy sport or gust. 9. Yet cry, if man's unhappy, God's unjust. If man alone engross not heaven's high care, alone made perfect here, immortal there, snatch from his hand the balance, 10, and the rod, rejudge his justice, be the God of God. In pride, in reasoning pride, our error lies. All quit their sphere, and rush into the skies. Pride still is aiming at the blessed abodes, men would be angels, angels would be gods. Aspiring to be gods, if angels fell, aspiring to be angels, men rebel? And who but wishes to invert the laws of order, sins against this eternal cause? We ask for what end the heavenly bodies shine, earth for whose use? Pride answers, ampersand quo. 'Tis for mine, for me kind nature wakes her genial pow single quotar, suckles each herb, and spreads out every flow single quotar. Annual for me, the grape, the rose renew the juice nectarious, and the balmy dew. For me, the mine 1,000 treasures brings. For me, health gushes from 1,000 springs. Seas roll to waft me, suns to light me rise. My footstool earth, my canopy the skies. Ampersand quo. But errs not nature from this gracious end, from burning suns when livid deaths descend, when earthquakes swallow, or when tempests sweep towns to one grave, whole nations to the deep? Ampersand quo. No, 'tis replied, the first almighty cause acts not by partial, but by general laws. This exception's few. Some changed since all began, and what created perfect? Ampersand quo. Why then man? If the great end be human happiness, then nature deviates. And can man do less? As much that end a constant course requires of show single quotares and sunshine, as of man's desires. As much eternal springs and cloudless skies, as men forever temperate, calm, and wise. If plagues or earthquakes break not heaven's design, why then a Borgia, 11, or a Catiline? 12. Who knows but he, whose hand the lightning forms, who heaves old ocean, and who wings the storms, pours fierce ambition in a Caesar's 13 mind, or turns young Ammon 14 loose to scourge mankind? From pride, our very reasoning springs. Account for moral as for natural things, why charge we heathen in these acquit? In both, to reason right is to submit. Better for us, perhaps, it might appear, were there all harmony, all virtue here. That never air or ocean felt the wind. That never passion discomposed the mind, but all subsists by elemental strife. And passions are the elements of life. The general order, since the whole began, is kept in nature, and is kept in man. 6. What would this man? Now upward will he soar, and little less than angel, 15, would be more. Now looking downwards, just as grieved appears to want the strength of bulls, the fur of bears. Made for his use all creatures if he call, say what their use, had he the pow single quotares of all? Nature to these, without profusion kind, the proper organs, proper pow single quotares assigned. Each seeming want compensated of course, here with degrees of swiftness, there of force. All in exact proportion to the state. Nothing to add, and nothing to abate. Each beast, each insect, happy in its own. Is heaven unkind to man, and man alone? Shall he alone, whom rational we call, be pleased with nothing, if not blessed with all? The bliss of man could pride that blessing find is not to act or think beyond mankind. No pow single quota res of body or of soul to share, but what his nature and his state can bear. Why has not man a microscopic eye? For this plain reason, man is not a fly. Say what the use, were finer optics given, to inspect a mite, 16. Not comprehend the heaven? Or touch, if tremblingly alive all o'er, to smart and agonize at every pore? Or quick effluvia, 17. Darting through the brain, die of a rose and aromatic pain. If nature thundered in his opening ears, and stunned him with the music of the spheres, how would he wish that heaven had left him still the whispering zephyr, 18. And the purling rill? 19. Who finds not providence all good and wise, alike in what it gives, and what denies? 7. Far as creation's ample range extends, the scale of sensual, mental pow single quota res ascends. Mark how it mounts, to man's imperial race, from the green myriads in the people grass, what modes of sight betwixt each wide extreme, the mole's dim curtain, and the lynx's beam, of smell, the headlong lioness between, and hound sagacious, 20. On the tainted, 21. Green, of hearing, from the life that fills the flood, 22. To that which warbles through the vernal, 23. Wood, the spider's touch, how exquisitely fine, feels at each thread, and lives along the line. In the nice bee, what sense so subtly true from poisonous herbs extracts the healing dew? 24. How instinct varies in the groveling swine, compart, half-reasoning elephant, with thine, twixt that, and reason, what a nice barrier! Forever separate, yet forever near. Remembrance and reflection how allied! What thin partitions sense from thought divide, and middle natures, 25. How they long to join, yet never pass this insuperable line. Without this just gradation, could they be subjected these to those, or all to thee? The pow single quota res of all subdued by thee alone, is not thy reason all these pow single quota res in one? 8. See, through this air, this ocean, and this earth, all matter quick, and bursting into birth. Above, how high progressive life may go. Around, how wide, how deep extent below. Vast chain of being, which from God began, nature's ethereal, 26. Human, angel, man beast, bird, fish, insect. What no eye can see, no glass can reach. From infinite to thee, from thee to nothing. On superior pow single quota res where we depress, inferior might on ours, or in the full creation leave a void, where, one step broken, the great scales destoid, from nature's chain whatever link you strike, 10th or 10,000th, breaks the chain alike. And if each system in gradation roll, alike essential to this amazing whole, the least confusion but in one, not all that system only, but the whole must fall. Let earth unblanked from her orbit fly, planets and suns run lawless through the sky, let ruling angels from their spheres be hurled, being on being wrecked, and world on world, heaven's whole foundations to their center nod, and nature tremble to the throne of God, all this dread order break, for whom? For thee? Vile worm. Oh, madness, pride, impiety. 9. What if the foot, ordained the dust to tread, or hand to toil, aspired to be the head? What if the head, the eye, or ear repined, 27, to serve mere engines to the ruling mind? Just as absurd, to mourn the tasks or pains the great directing mind of all ordains. All are but parts of one stupendous whole, whose body, nature is, and God the soul. That, changed through all, and yet in all the same, great in the earth, as in this ethereal frame, warms in the sun, refreshes in the breeze, glows in the stars, and blossoms in the trees, lives through all life, extends through all extent, spreads undivided, operates unspent, breathes in our soul, informs our mortal parts, as full, as perfect, in a hair as heart, as full, as perfect, in vile man that mourns, as the rapt seraph that adores and burns. To him no high, no low, no great, no small. He fills, he bounds, connects, and equals all. Exceeds then, nor order imperfection name, our proper bliss depends on what we blame. Know thy own point, this kind, this due degree of blindness, weakness, he even bestows on thee. Submit, in this, or any other sphere, secure to be as blessed as thou canst bear, safe in the hand of one disposing power single quotar, or in the natal, or the mortal hour. All nature is but art, unknown to thee. All chance, direction, which thou canst not see. All discord, harmony, not understood. All partial evil, universal good, and, spite of pride, unerring reason's spite, one truth is clear, ampersand quo. Whatever is right. Ampersand quo. Argument of the second epistle, of the nature and state of man, with respect to himself, as an individual. The business of man not to pry into God, but to study himself. Know then thyself, presume not God to scan. The proper study of mankind is man. Placked on this isthmus of a middle state, 28. A being darkly wise, and rudely great, with too much knowledge for the sceptic side, with too much weakness for the stoic's pride, he hangs between. In doubt to act, or rest, in doubt to deem himself or God, or beast. In doubt his mind or body to prefer, born but to die, and reasoning but to err. Alike in ignorance, his reason such, whether he thinks too little, or too much, chaos of thought and passion, all confused. Still by himself abused, or disabused. Created half to rise, and half to fall. Great Lord of all things, yet a prey to all. Sole judge of truth, in endless error hurled, the glory, jest, and riddle of the world.